Okay, this video today is going to be about PPC versus social media marketing, or SMM. Which one can generate more profits for your business? Short answer of all this is both of them generate profits. One just simply gives you a return quicker than the other. And you could probably maybe guess which one that is, which is PPC is sooner, social media a little bit later, but more. So, but with that said, there's ways to get social media marketing to work quicker. And even though PPC seems like a way to make quick money, it's not really, at least as far as what most people expect it to do. Most people think PPC, Google Ads, is like a switch. They turn it on, oh, I'm not getting rich, so I'm shutting it back off, and then they say it doesn't work. And if it was really that easy to do, your competition would already have taken all the opportunities there. And anything that's that simple, obviously, it's not worth anything, right? Google Ads will certainly work, but it usually takes a few months to get it going, and you gotta have a few $1,000s to be able to get it kick-started. So it's as good a sure thing as making money as you can get within a 3 to 6 month time period, or even 12-month time period, but you still got to have that ramp up time, and you still got to put in the proper work to set up your ads the right way at the beginning so that you're not throwing your money away, that your tracking set up, and when you start the clock, it's productive time and money put into it to get to that initial point of profitability. That is all a downhill slide from there. But anyway, I'm going to go over at a high level comparing these two. So if you're trying to make a decision on what to do, I'll explain it. I also talk about social media paid ads on social media platforms, as well as the organic, which I believe most of you guys searching for this or curious about this are wondering about like hiring a social media marketing manager, for instance, and whether or not spending $3,000 a month for a social media marketing firm versus, hiring a PPC management firm, paying them, 10% of your ad spend and spending that $3,000 on PPC, whether, that's better than hiring the social media manager. For the most part, social media marketing, also most people are going to not get it to work because they're also going to expect it to work right away. But realistically speaking, it's going to take years for organic social to work. You got to actually build up a following, and just sharing some shitty post once a week, which a lot of people try to hire a social media marketing girl to go on there and share shit once in a while, some generic shit, it's not going to ever pay off for you. So that ain't going to cut it. You have to legitimately share good content related to your niche, or in general share content that people want to see to build a following. Then once you have your following, then you can make money from it, but not otherwise. So that's the deal with that. So both of them can be screwed up, but generally when you do it right, PPC will work quicker. And for the amount of effort and time it needs to be where you're going to start making a profit from it, certainly PPC is going to be there, versus social media has way more potential, but there's more to put into it up front, a lot more. So anyway, with all that said, I'll go over these two different things and comparing the two. So brand building, which social media marketing, when you're talking about running or not running ads on social, but actual organic posting, will always beat direct response marketing, which direct response marketing is, you put out an ad, a certain percentage you're hoping to click on that ad, go to your site and buy. That's direct response marketing. Versus branding is you build an audience and then you monetize the audience once you've built it. That the direct response marketing will make more money in the short term, but the branding / social media marketing will make more money in the long term. In that the direct response marketing will make more money in the short term, but it won't have the legs you won't have the potential size of return from PPC because it's competitive still, and there's only so many people searching on Google for your products or services on an ongoing basis, versus if you could build an audience up with social. Yes, it might take a while to hit profitability with it, but the returns are unlimited. It's all just based upon how long you've been doing it. The longer you've built up an audience, the more return you can make. You can almost directly say, the bigger the audience, the more it can pay. And you can, if you know what you're doing, make tens of millions of dollars building up a following in your niche. Because once you have it so big, people will do pretty much that are following you, whatever you want them to do and buy, and you can basically get out of the business of what you're doing. You could just outsource all the whatever you're doing to somebody else and focus on that channel or whatever that you're building up. Anyway, so you get the general idea there. PPC makes more quicker, but not as much long term. Social takes more to get it to where it's profitable, but it makes more long term. Okay, got it? Now, for the most part, by the way, Google Ads is still where I would start out, /PPC is where I would start out in most markets, because most of you guys don't have the time and or money to wait years, literally years of time to build up a social audience through Facebook, or for the most part it's YouTube nowadays, or TikTok, or Twitter. Because it generally will take years. Some people are going to be able to build a following quick, but that's usually with people that are really talented and or have experience building up audiences online already and building a following. Whereas Google Ads is still hard to get that working. You still got to actually beat your competitors at your ad click-through rate, your landing page or site's conversion rate to be able to actually make money on Google Ads. But it's all something any person can do. Build a following on social, a lot of times you just have to have some creative talent to be able to even have it, even though you're going through the motions, be able to figure that out. It's less textbook. If you watch this channel and do the things that I'm telling you about how to run a Google Ads campaign, anybody can get that to work. Really, it's just about, more so than anything, are you going to put the time in to put these things into place? Are you going to spend the 100, 200, 300 hours to set up a fantastic funnel on Google Ads and optimize it to weed out the bad traffic? Because if you do, you'll make money. In basically any market. So you may not have the chops to even get social media marketing to work, depending on who you are. And certainly if you hire a $30 an hour social media marketing manager, unless you have something that's very, very unique, they're probably not going to build a following for you either. Why? Because if they knew how to build a fucking following for you, they would just build their own following, and they wouldn't be working for your butt for $30 an hour, because they could make millions building up their own audience. So for the most part, in social media marketing, building a following, you got to be able to one that actually does it. Otherwise, you ain't building shit. So if you are particularly creative and have good camera appeal, definitely you should try to build an audience, because long term you'll have no marketing cost to get clients or customers, and once you built the following, it takes very little effort to get sales moving forward. It just takes it's a while to get some momentum, but you make a video, you say you got a new product, people buy. That's it. And nobody can take that away from you. Even with pay-per-click, you may have new competitors come in. When you build a following, you've taken out all the people in your niche that are competitors, because they don't have the following, and the trust you get from a following eliminates the competition. So there's so much to be gained from just building up even a few thousand YouTube subscribers, which is why I started a YouTube channel myself. Even though I can get clients through doing pay-per-click, which we stopped doing that because people that search for Google Ads on Google want to pay less than what we charge at this point. But it's more profitable by far than doing email outreach, direct mail outreach to our clients, It just takes some time to get the momentum, but certainly that's the best way to get clients by far. In anything to do with professional services, B2B sales, building a following is really where it's at. But anyway, so the best of both worlds with all these though, given one has more potential short-term but less potential long-term and vice versa for the other, the best of both worlds is to work on building a brand while getting your PPC to work so you could stay in business while you build it up. Because obviously, if you were just to start working on building a following today, that following may not even be big enough to sustain paying your salary until at least a year in the future. A year would be conservative. More than likely, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, depending on how talented you are as a content creator. And unless you're already sitting on a lot of money already, you can't survive 18, 24 months, whatever, with zero income. And that doesn't even obviously count if you have overhead or whatnot. But if you wanted to, count on a following by itself to bring in business to sell your product or service, I wouldn't even invest in any infrastructure if I was selling a product until I built my following, since it's going to take so long. I would just create the YouTube channel, build the following. Once I start getting people wanting to buy, then I would set up my infrastructure to fulfill orders, not before. But anyway, with that said, you could start out with your Google Ads campaign or whatnot, get that working in the average is like 3 months to get it profitable up front, but might be 6 months. But 6 months in you already got something going to sustain the business. And then you can work on building your brand / following using social media in the background while you're doing it. Obviously, you're not gonna build a following as fast if you're only dedicating a small percentage of your time to building that following, but at least you eventually will get there still, versus not trying at all. Most people are just gonna say, I don't have time, fuck it. And then they're gonna be stuck with only what they can get from PPC ads long term. Versus, spending, for instance, your 1 hour a night or Sundays, 1 day of the week, trying to build your following so that 5 years down the road, after you've been running your business that long, now you're in a position to where you could start making some real money because you've built a sizable following by then, and that income from the following is going to start to eclipse or supersede the income that you're making from pay-per-click. So it takes a long ass time, but you're not going to be limited just with getting customers from Google search can do. In some markets, to be frank, you could live off of Google search, figure out and do all the things that I talk about on this channel and not need social media. There's a lot of markets like that. If you could just figure out PPC / Google ads for your business to run ads on Google.com, you could make $20 million a year in sales already. That may just already be enough. That is the reality. But obviously in a lot of markets, if you're in a smaller niche, you're only going to get so much out of Google ads, and you're going to have to start going to other places to add, grow further. Which part of that can simply be running ads on social, which obviously that can get you some returns right away too. YouTube ads, Facebook ads, and so forth. So, but even the social ads take, by the way, like the Google ads as I talked about a minute ago, it takes some runway to get that going. And generally the runway it takes to get Facebook ads or YouTube ads going, which those are the two main ads that you typically run for a business to get sales on social media. It generally will take 6 months for us to get a return on those platforms, because when you set up your tracking, this algorithm's got to be able to run for a while to be able to get some data to understand what works and what doesn't work. And that's just how it is. So whereas our average time to get profitable on Google ads would be like 3 months, it's like double in terms of the ramp up time to get profitable on Facebook ads and YouTube ads, which is why I recommend normally starting out with Google ads. But anyway, even like with the social ad, or like the Google ads, the social ads will have so much potential. generally speaking, on YouTube, it's targeting everybody who's looking to, for information on how to buy a product or service that you sell on YouTube. So if you sell workbenches, people that are looking up how to buy the right workbench, or they're looking at one of your competitors' videos or a review about your competitor, that's the places you're going to go. But there's only so much video content about that. And what you want to do is do keyword ads and run your ads while they're watching those videos where they want the, essentially researching about what you sell exactly. You show up there with a really good ad, get that to work. Facebook ads, it's generally, if you got YouTube ads working, you can do a lookalikes campaign, and the algorithm will slowly figure out the customers you have coming to the site, what they look like, what traits they have, so they can get your ad in front of similar people. And then once they eventually get a beat on it, then they can start scaling your ads there. But for the most part on Facebook, it won't be unlimited. It'll cap out at some point. On YouTube, there's only so much video content to get your video ads on. And whereas you could target people on YouTube that have simply searched for, let's say, a workbench in the recent past, in the recent last 30 days on Google, you can have your video ad show up for them while they're watching other videos, knitting videos, whatever it is. That doesn't work nearly as good as them actually looking for how to buy the best workbench and then showing up on the video while they're watching that video. It works 10 times better than if they were searching about workbenches in the recent past and you have that video ad show up for later on. Even though that can work, it's not nearly as good as showing up when they're doing that exact research. And more so when they're looking at your competitors' videos to find out more about that competitor's product and the reviews of that product, because that shows that that person's not just kicking around the idea of buying from you. They actually are serious about buying, and they're like one step away from making a purchase. When you show up on the competitors' videos like that, that always will be able to generate a profit in a market, because you're getting to people that are basically 90% sure to buy something in your market. And then therefore, your money that you're spending to get in front of these people is gonna be highly productive, because most of the people, even when you're advertising on Google search, a lot of times it'll be 30% of the people are actually gonna buy something. A lot of them are just tire kickers that are just toying with the idea of buying something. And which is also why on Google search we target people typing in competitor keywords the most, except for like local services and stuff like that, which I won't explain too much about that, but it's because it's got an extremely high percentage of people that are actually going to do business with somebody and in the near future. So anyway, it'll cap out, going back to this, at some point. And so you're building your following is where you're going to be able to get as much sales as you possibly want, and you can grow the business to any size that you want. So whereas it'll take a few years of your time and work to build up any kind of meaningful following on YouTube, or if you're doing TikTok or LinkedIn even, running ads to your subscribers or followers will make it pay off way sooner. So what I mean by this is, so a lot of people don't understand this that have YouTube channels, but you can actually, if you're doing a YouTube channel specifically, all the people that subscribe to your YouTube channel or just watch your YouTube channel, you can actually run your ads just to them. And because they know, like, and trust you already, they're subscribers of your channel. Because they know and like and trust you already, they're highly perceptive and responding to an offer that you're making to them. And so you could use your channel to kind of pitch a product or service to them during the videos, and that can bring you some sales. What's way more powerful yet is showing an ad to people while they're on YouTube, not watching your channel per se, which that you could also be shown there, but just as they're watching anything on YouTube, your video that pitches a product or service is on there, where you are directly pitching that product or service, and you use that to drive traffic at your site to sell that product or service. That works extremely well. And the entire purpose basically, of you building a YouTube channel could and should be just to build up an audience that you can then run your YouTube ads directly to. And because they know and like and trust you, it'll be 25 times more powerful than what you could do to target somebody who doesn't know and like and trust you and don't know of you yet would be. And that's literally like the difference. And so there's a lot of smart people who do know this. I know for sure, one being Alex Becker. He builds up his old channel, if you watch, and then he'll have ads that show up for people, should I say, after you watch his channel. And he built up a $100 million a year company just recently and sold it based upon that exact sole model. And so with that said, going back to what I was saying here, if you're building up that following, instead of just waiting around for the follower list to be big enough to where if you mention your product or services that you have to sell, first of all, you need a product or service to sell. You shouldn't just be making money off the ads itself or Patreon or whatever, but you come up with a product or service to sell, an actual business, and then, which obviously you have a business already, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this. But anyway, you basically, instead of just mentioning that product or service in passing on your channel, you actually are going to run ads at people watching your channel, and then that's going to allow you to monetize the following you do have quicker. Or should you say, it'll take a smaller following to start monetizing your audience, or to get you to the point of break even with the cost of making that content to build that following, and cover your monthly nut of paying your salary or whatever. So just to give you an example in our space, basically, at the time of making this video, we only have 1,000 subs, which in this space, it's so saturated. There's so much information, so competitive, make content in this space. 1,000 subs is like getting 10,000 subs in a normal niche. But we know that we get a client about every 100 subs. But that's partially because a lot of what I do is once somebody watches our channel, we have other ads show up for them to drive traffic at our site, so that we're not just at the end of the video hoping people get to the end of the video, which very few people do. And I mentioned about my firm, we're able to get business that way. So I don't need a huge following. In other words, I could, with a very small following, I can use the following I have to, we have other ads that send people to other content to get somebody who's watched one video more familiar with our channel. But we also have ads that say guaranteed PPC service, no pay until you get additional sales results on your campaign. And that obviously is able to generate us leads. And it wouldn't work, by the way, if they didn't already watch the channel. We know because we've tried it before. In professional services, people hire people that are trusted. That's just how this business works. But it's basically the same thing. Basically the same other niches as well. At least from the foundation of people. Lot more buy from companies they already trust already, or people that they already trust already, versus, which they can also obviously you could pitch them even if they didn't know you, and if the product's good enough, seemingly on the outside, they'll still be willing to buy from you. Versus in our space, they don't know the company or the person. They're not. No matter if I say the PPC is guaranteed, people don't want to buy. Just as a side, but. Anyway, so you build up the following and you start using your PPC ads to drive sales. So the following is intertwined with your PPC/online advertising strategy. So whereas it would normally take 3 years to build up enough following, maybe sometimes, or at least 18 months to build up enough following to really start monetizing your following, you might be able to start monetizing your following in 12 months or 9 months, because you're running ads at the people who've seen your YouTube channel already. On Facebook, you can do the same thing. If they've been to your Facebook page, you can market your Facebook ads just to them. On LinkedIn, you can do something similar as well if they follow you. On Twitter, you could do the same thing as well, technically there. And so forth, TikTok. So If you are going to spend the time building the following, which you should do, it's your long-term strategy to have literally almost zero marketing cost, which makes your profit margins like twice or triple the size in most businesses. You're going to make it pay quicker and better overall by running ads at the people who already follow you or watch you. And if you're going to pick one social media to build a following on, it does vary by niche. But for the most part, it's YouTube. Why YouTube? Because you can do long-form content. The reason why TikTok ads are basically so cheap and ads on YouTube are expensive is because you can capture someone's attention long-term on YouTube for the most part, and you need to be able to have someone's attention for a while to be able to have them be willing to take an action that you want them to take, versus if you got their attention for 10 seconds, you don't have enough time to build enough rapport with that person to take an action you would want them to take. So we found it extremely well doing these YouTube videos that last 25 minutes because we build up such a rapport with that user that 25 minutes that they know and like and trust us already just after basically the one video, even though that compounds the more videos that they watch or we can convince them to watch. So I recommend YouTube. As a second, I would do LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a lot of organic reach, even though on LinkedIn, if you don't come with really good content, it's really hard to build a following there. But if you know what you're doing, that can also work pretty good as well. And because it's for the same kind of reason, you can keep people's attention a little bit longer than what you could keep them on, like let's say TikTok. And Facebook's organic reach is so little, basically you can't do that anymore on there. So it's either really YouTube or LinkedIn. TikTok technically as well, if I had a low price consumer item or even a more expensive one, let's say as well, you could also do TikTok as well. You just need 100 times the followers to make the same impact as 100 followers on TikTok will get you the same sales as one follower on YouTube. Basically speaking, it's really that radically different. So anyway, YouTube might be the hardest to produce the content for, the most time consuming, but baby, is it worth it once it's going and it's working for you already, particularly as you get the ad engine going to all the people who follow you on YouTube already, like we're doing. So anyway, with all that said, that's basically everything I could tell you comparing social media marketing to PPC or online ads in general. And they both work. And if you put the time in, both will work. But social media marketing, that can make by far the most. So just take some time and effort to do it. Most people in your space aren't going to be willing to put in 5 hours a week making a YouTube video so that 2 years down the line you can get clients from it. And 5 years down the line, you're getting a shitload of customers and clients from it. They're not thinking that long term. You think that long term, you're going to make out like a bandit. And so with that, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I hope that it put things into perspective for you. If you did like the video, I'd appreciate it if you would give it a like and consider subscribing, as I have a ton of other content on this channel about making money with ads. Cover Google ads, Facebook ads, everything to do with online advertising. Specifically, I give you the strategies on this channel that I use for our clients to literally guarantee their results. And we have to guarantee their results before we get paid. The strategies we use to do that, I'm giving those exact strategies on this channel. And I'm the one strategizing all of our few dozen clients' accounts that we have at any given time. So it's coming straight from the source, and we're testing stuff all the time to find out what works, and radically different stuff. So anyway, you're not going to find better information that you're going to find on this YouTube channel in terms of actual information that can make you money, not generic advice. So you should subscribe. And if you like the channel, you'll also like my blog at GaryTPPC.com/blog. You should check that out as well. If you have any questions or concerns about anything I covered today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. Ask me any question you'd like with PPC, related to PPC. I'd be happy to try to help you out if I can, actually, as well. As a last note, also, as I mentioned on this video, I have a PPC firm. I work directly with clients to guarantee the results. If you're looking for guaranteed increases in sales or leads in some cases, then you're getting now on your current ad spend on Google, Facebook, or whatever, I could provide you a quote on how much more sales I can get you before we would need to charge you a dime. Because this is what we do here. We're the only ones in the entire ad management space doing this, which should tell you something about the quality of the results I provide in general, and obviously with the advice I give on this channel. So if you want to see if I can work with you, which don't work with everybody, but I can get you a quote on potentially working on your campaigns and what I can provide for it in terms of increase in sales if you reach out to me at my firm at guaranteeppc.com. And with that, I also do partnerships with companies where I charge nothing and will take a percentage of your sales increase long term, and I'll work on your stuff for free, and I'll just simply take part of your sales coming in. Do that with several companies already. That's also what we're trying to transition to overall in general here, because we know our stuff works. But again, we don't work with everybody. Reach out to me to see if I can be able to help you do that, and be happy to work with you if you got a great product or service to market. That said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you there. Peace out.